Hi, I'm Jim Taylor. Welcome to this 9th video in the In Favor teaching series, Your Words Are Powerful. This is what God says about what you say. And in these next few videos, we're going to be looking at how Jesus used his own words in a powerful way and what we can learn from that. So at this point, download the handout from infavorresources.com. You're looking for the one that says number 9. And we're going to see how Jesus speaks to the centurion. We find that story in Matthew chapter 8, printed at the top of your handout. So beginning with verse 5, when Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. Now, that might have been humbling, because this would have been an authoritative, powerful, commanding officer in the awesome Roman army occupying Judea at the time. And so we're really surprised to see him addressing Jesus as he does in verse 6. Lord, he said, talking to Jesus, my servant lies at home paralyzed and in terrible suffering. He must have been very valuable to that soldier, that servant, because a large part of the Roman population were slaves and servants at that time. In fact, I think the number is 1 out of every 3 people alive in the Roman Empire was a slave. So this guy could have been easily replaced, but the centurion wanted him to be healed and restored to duty. And so in verse 7, Jesus said to him, I will go and heal him. And isn't that just what you want? I'll come to your house and I'll heal your servant and give him back to you whole. But no, that was disagreeable to the soldier, surprisingly, because he replies, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word. And that is the first thing I want you to remember. Just say the word, and my servant will be healed. He says, for I myself am a man under authority. That's the second thing I'd like you to notice. The authority. With soldiers under me, and I tell this one go, and he goes. I tell that one come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. Notice there that the centurion has given 3 examples of his authority and his spoken word of command, and in each of the 3 cases, something happens as a result. So he's thinking to Jesus, why would you bother making the trip to come to my house? Jesus, you have this kind of authority too. I know that. And I know that if you just say it, it will be done. Now, Jesus knew this, but up until this point in his ministry, nobody else seemed to catch on. And so, as surprising as all this is, what happens next is even more surprising. Verse 10, when Jesus heard this, he was astonished. That's a strong word. He was amazed. And he said to those following him, he turns to his disciples and says, did you see that? He says, I tell you the truth. I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. Now, this had to be humbling for the disciples now. Jesus says, none of my countrymen, none of the Jewish people have had faith like this. And here's this guy, a Roman soldier. And so Jesus said to the centurion, go, which is repeating the command that the centurion said, I often give to my servants and my soldiers. Go, and it will be done just as you believed it would. And that's the 4th thing I want you to realize. Jesus said he had great faith, and then he said, as you believed, it will be done for you. As the measure is of your faith, so will be the extent of my miraculous power in your life. And the extent in this particular instance was, and his servant was healed at that very hour. So remember the 4 ingredients in this recipe. Remember the 4 requirements for seeing a miracle like this in our own lives. Recognizing our authority in Christ, combined with our faith in his power and ability, and recognizing the power of a spoken word or command, and then finally, realizing that something always happens as a result. And the result might be a miracle, as it was here. I quoted the Life Application Bible Commentary on your handout in the box. When your words begin to carry more weight than we typically give them today, you'll begin to understand the faith this Roman officer had in Jesus' words, which were filled with divine power, a power that Jesus gives to those who follow him. That's me. That's you. Now, take a moment now to think about this. I'm not sure we're told anywhere else in the Bible that Jesus was so impressed by someone that a regular guy, and a Roman soldier at that, could do something that made Jesus say, whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Did you guys see this? Jesus was astonished by the centurion simply because he recognized authority, he had faith, and he understood the power of spoken words. Now, Jesus is always amazing to us, but wouldn't it be nice to be the person who amazes Jesus? The one that makes Jesus say, wow, look at her, look at him. Wouldn't you like to meet the Roman soldier in heaven? I mean, that would be enough for me. Hey, did you live during Jesus' day? Were you the guy who, oh, wow, it's a pleasure to meet you. But you know what? If a Roman soldier can do it, you can too. Because your words are powerful. That is what God says about what you say. So, what will you say? Next video, join us and see what happens when Jesus speaks to the storm. And there's more than meets the eye to this storm.